Hello, Fargo here. Thought I'd have a round at Kiwa Resort for made by Pancake, or I think it's phenomenal, abominable on his username here. I'm playing from the back tees and pins 4. Um, just as a sort of standard disclaimer, I'm just some dude who likes golf courses. My opinion is just as valid as anyone else's. Um, but I thought I'd just have a look because I played this a couple of weeks ago and it's a good course. It is a good course. There's a lot of really nice stuff. Um, the atmosphere and the sort of the tropical sort of theme is pretty spectacular in places. That there are a few things to my eye that sort of could be done better, or sort of maybe not to take it to the next level. Um, could be done a little bit better. Now off the first tee. Oh, and just on this, I'm gonna probably pick out negative things I see. So I think that's a pretty handy way to sort of pick out what to work on, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, this is great, I love this." Uh, it's not as productive, maybe. Um, so let's get cracking. View off the first tee, long par 4. Um, looks nice. I like the sort of the sandy waste areas here with the palm trees, and just like the vibe's pretty cool. I think maybe you could have put something on the left side of this initial tee shot instead of just that um, sort of pretty plain heavy rough. But like I said, that's pretty minor. I like that you can see this hole down here. I imagine that's what, the 9th or the 18th coming back. Works well. And you've got these sort of big waterways leading down into the ocean behind. And look, your rock work is awesome. Love how you've continued the rock work down under the water, so you get that really nice layered view. One thing that did stick out to me a little bit was just some of the planting on the rock work, which is good and pretty varied in places. I just found you've just got sort of plants dotted around on the rocks, and I'm not sure that plants would grow in those spots naturally. So I don't know, maybe sort of keep the planting on the rockwork into the sort of the cracks and the natural sort of crevices. Just gives it a bit of a more natural look. But like I said, that's a a very minor thing. The hole itself is good. It pinches up there past driver distance in a quite a natural way. Um, I like that. I always like that cart path texture, and it's very well done. It's flat and it's nice. Yeah, so it's a nice opening hole with a bit of a challenge off the tee here. Obviously, you've got the room to lay up back here. That works, and then sort of pinches up past driver, which I'm going to go for, and I think most players will. Oh crap. That's not a good start. I'm not a very good golfer. I like looking at courses and sort of building courses, and I play them, but I don't play them very well. So we've got light rough. Okay, so that's all light rough fringing. So I'm just trying to work out your textures you've got. Obviously the fairway. You've got light rough in around the cart path. And then what have you got on this side? Okay, so you've got a stretch of... Okay, so you've got a nice light rough and then dark, a heavy rough. That works pretty well. So coming to the first sort of thing that I think you could definitely do better is your sculpting around your greens. So to me this looks like pretty flat sort of ground, and then green that's been raised up by, what, 3 foot or so. And then down. I mean, having a sort of raised green is obviously a pretty standard feature and works well, but I think with a lot of the way that these are sculpted, it's like the green isn't that well incorporated into the environment around it. Just with flatness, and you've taken the raised brush or the flattened brush and then sort of adjusted it, and then down, as opposed to sort of more sort of natural landforms where the green might sit more naturally. Pushing everything to the right today. And I'm off. Ooh, just stayed on. Oh, and I didn't say, because I jumped into this video short, that the transitions shot behind that first hole with the villas back there, that's excellently done. I do like the way that you've done those villas, actually. They look really cool. That is not even nearly enough. The green itself, yeah, it works sort of a two-tiered thing. You could probably introduce a bit more sort of internal contouring, especially through that very large back section. I see there is a little bit there, but you can be a bit bolder with those, I think. Take a par to start. Par's good for me. Okay, hole number 2. Okay, the first thing, let me just get to the putter so I can show you. I don't like that this post is here. I don't like that it's right in the way. Having these sort of coarse things works, but generally not going to put a stick right in front of the tee. Again, a minor thing. Bunkers are well sculpted. I'd like to somehow be able to see that there's something back here. It's maybe not a big deal on this hole itself. So I spend a lot of time when I'm designing my courses looking from this view and trying to make this view look as natural as possible. And I can see that there's a bit of a drop off, but maybe, I don't know, maybe sort of raise this area and raise sort of in behind here, you know, not necessarily to show that, so that you can see the sand itself, but if you could see a bit of land movement sort of here to indicate that there are bunkers there, I think that would give it a better look to the hole. This is a tough pin. So I do a bit of rangering for the TGC tours, and if I was rangering this hole, I would say there is, oh, where am I? Orange in the 9 box, which could be an issue for tour use over there, but TGC is not the be all and end all. But I sort of play the societies and help out with the rangering, and that's something that I would look at, especially, like, it's quite long. It's 186 yards and there's very little room to move. If you've got this pin with a stronger wind behind, oh, it's a quite strong wind behind, I don't know how I'm going to possibly stop this on the green, but we'll give it a go. Oh, not like that. Not like that. Oh, it didn't get over. I tend to see some. You see, that's just a little trickle down that's gone past. If that's coming in with an 8 or 9 iron behind, even with a bit of backspin, it's going to be really hard to get that close. I was going to mention something about the waterfalls too. I might do that when we're coming back. I think there's some holes on the left side here that come back where you see them from the front. But just to sort of point out here now, waterfalls are really hard, especially big ones, and especially ones where you're looking at them from all different angles. If you've got a waterfall sort of hidden away that's coming out of the forest and you never see it from behind, then it's not an issue. But because you're looking at this from behind, you've got this sort of straight line, which again takes away a bit of the sort of the natural look. So it's just little things, right? That just little things. The hole itself is nice. Goes around to the left. It's trouble both sides. Wonder what happens if I bounce one on the rocks, but I'm not going to do that unless it happens by accident. But again, it's a nice hole. I can't get up to that bunker. I think some of the bunker sculpting can be a little. It's not bad. It can be a little inconsistent at times. Like this one, the sand comes up quite steep compared to some of the other bunkers, and if you look at that one behind, it just could do with a little bit more work, but not much in it. Yeah, well, we'll go and see the bunker up close. Bunkers are hard, and especially this style of bunker where it's, this sort of, you get a really good look at the sand itself and the sort of the edges of the bunker. My last course, I put just a crap load of planting around all the bunkers, and that hides a lot of the deficiencies with them, and not every course should have those at all. But it's really tough to get them consistent. And then sort of same issue with the waterfall, sort of coming in here with that flowing water. And then another sort of two-tiered green. It's sort of similar to the other one in that there's a sort of smallish front tier and a larger, quite flat sort of back tier. I think a little bit more. Oh, that's really, really terrible. A little bit more. I don't know, subtlety or. You can do more with the greens. Okay, fourth hole. This is a nice view down out of the water. The reason that I was a bit picky on those bunkers previously, right, was because this sort of course with these white sand, large bunkers, and where the bunkers and the, I suppose the sort of waste areas are the same texture. It's really defined by the bunkers in a certain way. Obviously, it's defined by the ocean, by the waterfalls, by the river, and by the planting. But the bunkers are a huge part of this course. So they've got to be really good. Should I go here? Sometimes they like looking at shortcuts. That's actually not a bad place to go. Get a better angle into that green. I'll roll off that thing. So just sometimes you just got to be aware of shortcuts. Maybe chuck a tree in the way to dissuade that a bit. But again, the strategy of the hole works quite well. I won't take the shortcut. I'll hit a driver. I don't know if I'll run out. I think I'll be okay. Now what you have done well is these are nice, and the way that it blends down into the water, and that you've got the sand in below to give it this blue. It looks pretty gorgeous. So that's really good. Not 100% sure about this bunker here. It's a long hole, and I see that you've sort of wanted to protect coming in here. I suppose if you miss the fairway, then it means that you can't bounce that ball onto the green from the rough, because that's in the way. But I'm not sure if it's necessary. Strategy of the hole is really this side. I think it's okay to leave an opportunity to bounce into a hole from this side. I think this hole will be better if this bunker was sort of moved even here, but still, it's alright. It's quite a flat bunker, but it's alright. These are small little nitpicky things, so I'm going to go with the 3-iron. See if I can get that on the green and roll it through. It's not going to be nearly enough. The green's good, there's a bit more to it. Yeah. I've got to give this quite a bit of willy because it's 3 foot uphill. Ooh. So that's quite a steep area around the pin. Again, like sort of looking at my sort of TGC eyes on, if I was rangering this course at default settings, I'd say this is not an illegal pin, but I doubt it would sort of stand up to scrutiny at 155 grains. It's a bit much around the pin. Back around this lagoon. Okay, this double green. So the double greens are hard. This one works quite well. You're always going to get this stupid transition where the grids stop. I don't think there's any way to prevent that. But I like the sort of the ridge to define the two halves. Yeah, this whole works quite well, but again, I don't know. I wish there was sort of something to indicate that there's some sort of trouble on that side, because from the tee, it's just not visible there. but it's a good green, it's a good hole. I'll put that in the bunker, I think. That's pretty poor effort. I do play a bit better than this when I'm concentrating on my game rather than the course itself. So you've got to excuse that. So now I think, oh no, I thought we came back up the other side. Okay, so we're down by the beach here. Yeah, I mean, again, just with the way that the colours, you know, transition from the white sand to this azure blue and then the dark blue. It's really nice. However, again, it's a sightline thing. I wish that little spit of beach was something that you could see, and that's something that would be it's something that I think does make a difference. Let's go back here. Well, I better go a bit closer. It's quite a long hole. What is it we got? Oh, it's a par 5, okay. And the second hole. Again, just with the rock work going down underwater, done really well with that. Same sort of issue with the green, I think, is sort of like I mentioned on the first hole. It's just sort of the way that it's sort of risen and then just transitions down to sort of flat land, a little rise. You know, from a playability point of view, works. Just yeah, looks a little. I don't know, like, I suppose for people who have spent a bit of time in the designer can sort of see how that's done, and I think with a bit more care the greens can flow into the fairways a little bit more naturally. But you've tempted me with a excuse me. Tempted me with a tough shot in. What's my layup options? Right. Okay, so there's plenty of room for a layup, so that's good. But I'm going to have a crack at it. I should get there if I hit a good shot. Hit a rock, bounce a mile. Oh no, that's okay. Okay, hole 7. Sort of split fairway options here. Yeah, it works right. Again, the rock works really good. You could probably do a little, again, same sort of thing. You could do a little bit more with the planting, but it's all right. Oh yeah, I like the beach club. You see that in the next hole, I think. I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago, but that's really well done. So strategy wise, you can come down here. I spot so up here's the play 99% of the time. You've got a better angle in on the green, you've got less elevation change, and you've got a wider fairway. Here's a narrow fairway, but it's the harder shot, so most of the time, no, you're not going to go down here. The only reason that you would not go up here is if you're worried about running out of the fairway up there with the wind behind. I got 0 wind. I think I'll be right to just knock it up here. Yeah, so that's a split fairways are tough because you want to try to create a sort of dilemma in the player's mind, and then looking at this green a bit closer. Look, coming at it from this angle, that's an absolute nightmare shot. So there's not really much of a dilemma on this hole. There's no reason to take this route, which is, I suppose, something that from a strategy point of view can be sort of improved on, because if you've got a split fairway, like I said, you want it to, ideally you want it to raise questions in a player's mind, or have different options in different wind conditions or different tee boxes. I've got a really tough putt. I want to go right up here. I haven't even got this over the hill, I don't think. Yeah, that's really bad. Go up here. Oh, this could be beautiful. Oh. Okay. Par 3. I'm going to talk about your tee boxes in a one of the holes coming up, I think. But as a preview, it's sort of the same issue as what I mentioned with some of the greens before. See, this green's better. It's more sort of integrated into the landscape as opposed to just this race thing. Waterfalls are hard. I've never done a course with waterfalls. I've tried a couple of times. They're really hard, and they take a lot of sort of time and care. These are big and they're bold. Are they too big? Like, this is a hell of a lot of water pumping down here on this quite flat sort of oceanside area, pumping into this sort of big lagoon. I don't know, it's sort of verging on the sort of fantasy style as opposed to a sort of more realistic style. And look, there's nothing sort of wrong with that. Oh, my pizza's here. Hold on one sec. Sorry, mate. I got a pepperoni pizza. It's dinner time here. Thank you very much. And I'm a bit hungry. But again, bunker sculpting, like I said, it's good, but it could be a little bit better. I don't know, maybe raising up here a bit so you get a bit more of a grass lip down into the bunker that starts. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I'll keep moving on because we've got to get through this course. Oh, I think I'm in the water. Yep. Let's try that again. Oh, I can't stop fasting it today. What is going on? Stay up. Okay. Right. So we've got a bender around the corner with a, I suppose, almost a I'll have a look at that bunker when we get up there. I like the all this is planted out quite nicely, and the way that you've got the bushes here spread out, that looks good. Look, you've obviously it's obviously like a coastal, quite flat sort of land course. Wait a sec. Where? Okay, so I'm either down to here. If I go driver to this landing area, it's sort of the trees are encroaching a little bit here for a drive area. I think, I don't know, the maybe if the dog leg was a bit more through here and then a little bit more room out there, then you'd have that area to hit here where the trees don't encroach quite as much, but you've still got the you've got to sort of carry a sort of diagonal. I'm just sort of spitballing sort of what I do in terms of strategy. Just with this one, it just feels a little bit like there's wow, way fast again. The trees are encroaching a little bit compared to the shape of the fairway. But there we go. But then you've got yeah, I mean it is a par 5, which I didn't realise when I was looking at it. So I suppose, yeah, the bunker is alright. It's hard to get the sand working really well. I suppose with a normal bunker you'd have some sort of lip, which obviously doesn't happen in this game, or you'd have a grass bank, and then the bunker would be more concave, where if you see this is like a just sort of straight slope down. Mate, it's super nitpicky. I think that just in terms of realism of the bunkers could just takes time and work. Like looking at real bunkers, like photos of them, and sort of trying to replicate how they look. It's helped me quite a bit. The way that the game does bunkers is pretty shit, to be honest, and it's really tough to get them looking really natural. And these are close. Oh, I should have had a look at the tee boxes behind, but we'll have a look at here. So you've got round tee boxes, and you've taken the flattened brush and and just sort of flatten them to the side, which when you're on the tee it's alright, it's fine, but when you're sort of looking back at these sort of things from different angles around the course, like it looks a bit sort of fabricated. or not particularly natural. And quite a lot of the tee boxes are sort of like that. They're just sort of, you've taken the shape and sort of flattened that out at the particular height without worrying about how the rest of the land works with it. Yeah, small things. These are really cool. I'd like to stay in one of these little villas. They're really cool. Okay, what do we got? Par 4. I suppose a lot of... fucking hell. Sorry, mate. I suppose a lot of the drives especially are quite straightforward, as in there's a spot, hit the driver, and hit that every time. I'm going to chip out. Just to see what it looks like from a reasonable position. Yeah, and it's okay. These bunkers, I don't know, are they necessary? Did they come into play on a previous hole? No, they didn't. They're sort of... they're on the side of a hill that's leading down and away from your eye line. So you've got no high point behind the bunkers. I just think they're unnecessary. They give a look when you're looking at it from this angle, but really, if that's just this bunker's fine. But if these three is just a grass bank going down there, I think that's better. Because I don't think anyone would put bunkers there. This bunker's a bit weird with the surfacing. If you see, you've just got a really narrow bit of fairway in here, and if you think about how some bloke with a lawnmower maintaining this course in real life, they're not really going to mow this as fairway, and then they have the light rough mower coming around here. It's just not I suppose the fairway should sort of just come down here, and again on the other side should sort of just come down here. You don't need it to go around the bottom of there. Even on this side, you don't really need that fairway there. It should just sort of come off here somewhere and behind, and then you put whatever sort of runoff areas at the back that you want. But it's like I don't know, you sort of put the fairway and plonk the bunker there. Yeah. Another sort of tough shot into this pin. I suppose I am playing pin 4, so you've got your Sunday set out, and I've fastened it into the bloody bunker again. I might try to slow down my swing, hey? Yeah, so what I was saying about the fairways, a lot of them are sort of fairly straightforward, sort of see the spot and hit the driver. Maybe a little bit more land movement in those fairways, sort of a bit more ups and downs. Like I said, I know you've got a flat coastal course, but maybe like a little bit of movement or some sort of interest on the drives. You've got a drivable here. And again, like I said, with the waterfalls, I mentioned these sort of transition things. Like this hole is a really good example, because that's a fundamental part of the course. That's a hazard that you're worried about, you're looking at, and that it's sort of right there in your face. So it is something to be aware of. Bunkers behind greens are tough. I see what these are for, is sort of catch bunkers there, so I suppose they're alright. Just those bunkers are good. I'm always a bit worried about, not worried, but I'm not quite sure about bunkers behind greens. That they don't exist on that many courses, and the reason is you can't really see them from most places when you're playing a course. And you don't have to see everything, and these are okay because they are catch bunkers for that thing behind, for that drop off behind. I'm going to play it out to here just to have a look. I mean, it's not a bad strategy if you're not going for it. I suppose I should have taken a 3 iron and given myself a better angle into this green, or even a 4 or 5 iron. So that works quite well, actually. That might be in the bunker. Bloody hell. Alright, like I mentioned before, I suppose this beach club area is pretty cool. Pretty cool, actually. One thing I'll say, it's a little bit weird that it's where it is. This is a very minor thing, but it's like, how are all these patrons getting there? You've got to actually traverse through the golf course, through sort of lines of play of the golf course, really, to get there. Which is a little weird, but that's cool. Another pretty tucked pin, but this one you can get to because of the sculpting, and you've also got a backstop, I think. Yeah, so that's fine. I'll go here, loft it up, try not to hit it mad fast, and see if that backstop will bring it back. That's a better shot. That's right, I'll take that. Haven't hit it. Alright. This hole, now I see what you're going for. It's really hard sometimes with these long sand transitions to the beach that are not planted out at all, because you get these crinkly lines. It's hard to get this to look the way that I think it looks in your mind. I reckon with where the sun is, right? If this concept was sort of adapted whereby there'd be a little bit of planting, you'd obviously have to sort of adjust how it works, but if there's a little bit of planting here, then some buried bushes just in places that cast shadows down here. Wherever you get those sort of crinkly areas, you can actually completely hide them and make it look pretty cool, just with even just grasses, and just sort of experimenting that can give like these really cool looks. Because as it is, it's sort of hard to see I know what you're going for, but it's sort of hard to communicate that look really well. It's pretty tight up there, but that's okay. It's a short par 5, so yeah, big tight's fine. Oh, and I've slowed that one. What am I doing? Hit the path. Okay, so this is going to be a layup. I'll go up here. Yeah, I just think this whole sort of section might be better with some sort of planting or something. It's really hard to get these sort of beach areas to look natural. Now, and again, you plonked a bunker right in front of the green on a par 5, which, again, you know, if I was on the fairway, it takes away any opportunity to sort of bounce the ball up to the green. And I get the idea of protecting the green, but also have a think about offering the shot to the player as opposed to always protecting the shot. And you don't have to offer the whole green or make it completely you know, straightforward. You can give sort of fairly narrow opportunities to sort of get to the hole. But I just think courses are generally a bit more fun when there are opportunities to do something creative with your shot to get to the green. So this one confused me a bit, just from a routing point of view. So you've come down that fairway behind, and then you're onto this one, and then you go back to the other side to go back down the other way. So I did notice it on the first time that I was playing that the routing's a little bit skew on this hole. I'm not quite sure how one is expected to get to that green. You got a little jetty there, but there's not really a jetty. Yeah, just the logistics don't quite work. Like I said a million times on this before, it is a very minor thing. You got fucking hell. You got quite a lot of just these big white bunkers bang right in front of the green, like this one. So there's a lot of shots that look like this, where you've got a bunker, a large bunker, right in front protecting the green. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that as a concept, but it just feels like there's been a few too many times where that's been the case. Now, I'm going to try to go through a bit quicker on this one. This hole, I don't get. I don't understand why this fairway portion is here, because it's just completely blocked off. So there's actually no reason for all this fairway to be here. And then have a look, like I said, you got that white fronting bunker right in front of the green again. What I do like about this course, one thing that I think is really good is just how, you know, it's pretty open and you can see, you know, pretty much the whole course in one sort of congruent block from everywhere on the course, which I think is great. I really like that when I'm playing courses. Obviously, doesn't mean every course has to be like that, but I think it's pretty cool in a general sense. 16. Okay, so you got this synode. It's cool. It's well done, and I like that you've put OB in there. I think it wouldn't work if there wasn't OB. Now, I wonder, is it a little bit far? I mean, I'm on the back tees, so obviously there are different tees to play and there are different wind conditions, but it would be a pretty cool shot if there was an opportunity to try to carry it, maybe even bounce off the rocks on top of it and shoot yourself up miles up near the pin. As it is, you know, I don't play the longest driver in the game, but it's still 296. It's relatively long. There's going to be very few times where where that's an option for me, and that would be a pretty fun shot. And if you drop it a little bit short, then you're in there and you're OB. And so as opposed to as it plays for me in I'd imagine most wind conditions as a sort of visual sort of thing, if it was something playable, that would rock. Yeah, look, I'll just show you just these tee boxes again. You can see how sort of unnatural they look, and these ones look, they're really close to the green. You're looking at them from this view, and that land just does not look like natural land. So something to think about. Okay. All right. Okay, you got these pretty cool tongues of the bunkers coming out. It's the first hole with a detached green. It works well with the sculpting there. Maybe you could have introduced sort of detached green before the 17th hole, maybe. But look, the hole works. Oh, I've way slowed that. Alright, so on to the last hole, and just to sum up, look, it's a good course. I've enjoyed playing it both times, especially the first time I played it when I played a little bit better, and there's heaps of really cool, like it's pretty striking, and there's heaps of cool stuff. There's a few things that I think can be worked on. That tree, I think, should be gotten rid of. I wonder if you carry straight over it, but I don't know. That's the landing. That's the fairway landing zone right there. And well, I do carry it, but not sure if that tree should be there. And then into the last, it's a shortish par 5. Which is cool for a closing hole, gives opportunities. This whole big sort of river gorge, you can't really see from here, so it's a bit of a sightline issue. It's not major because it's set back enough and it's not as much in play, but I think it would probably be a little better if you could see it. Yeah, but like I said, small things. Ooh, and then look, this is pretty aggressive. Again, you know, if you're looking to sort of make courses for tour use, like I don't think that's going to stand up to going up to 155 speeds. And you know, if you got a default speed at 142, people are going to have a look at 155 because these guys are going to want to have a bit of variance on the different rounds. They're not going to want to play the same green speed. See, look at that. I didn't miss by much. It's pretty tough. Yeah. So you're going to want some variances. So if you go for a 140, it should be playable at the next step up, I think. Yeah. But anyway, nice course. Hope what I said was helpful. Yeah. Let me know what you think. See you, mate.